Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Kweku Asuma Tweme, has announced that government will in the coming days change the methods as it has employed 3 years ago in tackling illegal mining. After it emerged the illegal act is back in full swing. The Oda River and the Forest Reserve have in recent weeks come under siege by unregistered Chinese small-scale miners and their Ghanaian collaborators. The discovery was made when the minister paid an unannounced visit to the 16,000-hectare forest reserve in the Ashanti region. My colleague Latif Idrisu was with the minister and has a report, but Latif joins me in the studio to talk about exactly what he found on the ground as we bring you that package. Latif, it's good to have you back in the studio.
Thank you.
So give us an idea what you found on the ground.
So this visit by the minister was to look at the forest reserve. In fact, this visit started somewhere last 2 weeks. He's been to the western region where he visited some of the forest reserves in that area. So this time we were in the Ashanti region and he was going to do similar exercise. And that took the team to the Oda Forest Reserve, which is in the Amansie Central District of the Ashanti region. So he wasn't to visit, say, a Galamsey site.
Okay.
He went there to visit the forest and look at how the forest is being preserved.
And then he went and found out.
And then it was a shocker. Then he found out that this is what is going on in this forest. Like you mentioned in the intro, 16,000 hectares. As we are now being told, 7 hectares of these 16,000 hectares completely wiped out by activities of these illegal small-scale miners who are basically doing business in the forest.
So here's a report that Latif has put together. When we come back, we'll have a quick chat as well on that report. Take a look.
Close to 3 years of fighting illegal mining across the mining regions across the country, it appears the fight is not achieving or realizing the desired result. Illegal miners, Chinese and locals, continue to evade authorities to dig for gold in the country's forest reserves. Today, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Kweku Asuma Tweme has taken the fight to yet another mining region, that is the Ashanti region. In the Oda River Forest Reserve, illegal miners continue to pillage the forest for gold at the blind side of authorities. The distraught minister says the strategy is changing with immediate effect.
Together with technical officers from the MENCOM, Minerals Commission, and the Forestry Commission.
You think the military is the way to go?
Yeah, as of now, we have no other alternative than to use them. You know, these miners, if you come here unarmed, you may be attacked. No civilian can easily approach them to tell them to stop, unless our brothers in the military are here. Their uniform alone is enough scare to them.
So how soon should we expect this military deployment to this other forests?
Just next week it will happen. You see, there is one excavator.
Sorry.
Today too. There is one excavator in the...
You will not fall?
Yes, in the open pit. And as soon as they saw us, they fled.
Yeah.
It means that when we leave here, they will come back and work. So the action that we have to take here will have to be immediate. You see how they have devastated the forest. And it is not only this area. As we are being told, there are other areas of this forest.
And just to cut you, we can hear a sound in the background. We are told this is Chamfine machine operating on the river. Does this come as a shock to you, considering the fact that we've fought illegal mining for close to 3 years now, since President Akufo-Addo took over?
I have always been telling you journalists that as we close one avenue today, they open another. For we are not regular on the ground. So if we should sack them from Bekwai, they move to Apamprama. If we sack them from Apamprama, then they move to Aparapi. That's what they do, right? So where they see that we are very active on the ground at this Oda forest, they will move to another forest. All the forest is full of gold. So they do some small geological work, they move into work.
So immediately, like you mentioned, next week we should expect this deployment taking place.
Yes.
Do you have an idea of the number you would want to deploy?
Maybe
16,000 hectares, we are told.
yes. If we come with 2 platoon, in military when they say platoon, it means 30 soldiers. So 2 platoon is 60 soldiers. 60 soldiers are around. Nobody will come here.
But they still manage to break through even with the military or Vanguard team on the ground. They are still
They
operating.
are not here. Vanguard is not here. Are they here? They are not here. What the officer said was that there were some people who purportedly were in military uniform, and they assumed that they were military officers. We have met to revise our notes. We are adopting very pragmatic steps, including burning of such equipment. The excavators, we say that we'll come and lift them. But these equipment under fire now, if we should leave them, in the night they may come back to operate. Getting the equipment back to this site to work today, tomorrow, is going to be difficult. So by the time they come back to do this job, we would have come here. We would have come here again to take the excavators and other equipment that they may bring here away.
You are looking at another illegal mine site still in the Oda River Forest Reserve. The Minister Kweku Asuma Tweme just set ablaze one of the mining equipment here at the mine site. This plus many other mining equipments have been set ablaze by the minister, who is furious about the fact that still illegal mining continues to take place deep in the country's forest reserve. Here is a makeshift structure, and this is where the illegal miners take naps.
I won't put much of the blame on the men, my men on the ground, especially the supervisors and the forest guards. What happened is that we still have to streamline the way we are issuing out mining permits coupled with the community mining concept. I'm the forest manager in charge of the forest. If, for example, community mining permit is being issued close to my reserve, I'm not copied. And once they don't enter the reserve and they are operating in outside forest reserve area, I cannot tackle them. Yeah. So normally, it's sort of the dodge game. They are always spying on us, waiting for the least opportunity to enter the reserve. And what happened from the onset of this incident was that they first came to the off-reserve area and we confronted them, and they told us they had a community mining permit, which they couldn't even show us.
If you are saying they, who are they?
You see, you come and nobody wants to take responsibility. They will always tell you our bosses. Are
Who is the they? You said they. You are saying they again.
No, you come and meet their boys.
You mean the illegal miners?
Yes. Like we see, the structure over there. Mm-hmm. They first brought it inside the reserve. I came and dismantled all the structures and sacked them from the reserve, burned everything. You can see the debris.
So,
yeah. And then they moved the structure outside the reserve. The signpost was there, where we saw the signpost. That is the boundary of the reserve. So, by law, until the person enters the reserve, sometimes, even if you have, you know their intention, unless they enter and do something in the reserve, you can't confront them.
Are you helpless?
And I don't sound helpless. We came here with all forces. And we came and they also had a military protection.
Military protection.
The actual entry started around 2nd January.
This year.
The whole Xmas period I was around, patrolling all over, making sure that nothing happens, because that was the time everybody travels for the joyous moment, and so the whole Xmas I was around,
so
patrolling with my team.
Damage is taking just like 2 weeks.
Yes, from 2nd January, this whole thing. We came here about 3 days ago this Dagion was not there. Just 3 days ago, I came here. My regional boss wanted to also see things for himself because I was reporting on a continual basis. I have taken so many actions, arresting the Chinese, coming here, trying to stop the excavators and move them out.
You mentioned that 2 Chinese are involved in this and
Yes.
that they were arrested and given to the police. Have you followed up? Are they still going through the process?
Yeah.
The law?
Yes. The CID came to, we took the CID to one of the sites, and that day the vehicle broke down and we couldn't complete the investigation. So the investigation is still on. He has still not finished preparing the docket. Yeah, so the chance of prosecution is there, but as I will tell you, certain forces are behind. Let me say, big men are behind all this.
And you know them?
We don't know them, but it's their boys.
You know their boys?
Yeah, we know some of their boys. But for some reasons, since investigations are going on,
You don't want to?
I don't want to.
So once big men are involved and they are politicians,
That is why
why
we made sure that our report got to the Honorable.
President Akufo-Addo in August last year assented to a new illegal mining law which pegs sentences for the illegal act to some 25 years. But it appears that is not deterrent enough.
Those who do surface mining go this way, and they are giving license for that. Today we don't give license for people to mine in the forest because it is cabinet directive that even where other companies had gone through the process of doing mining, they had been stopped. At the time that we stopped them, they were 46 in number. You could see the modus operandi over here, that it is largely Chinese who are doing this job, ostensibly being facilitated by Ghanaians. From the FSD, Bekwai, they had been here, and when they came with the help of the soldiers, they were able to confiscate about 8 excavators. But that is not the end of it all. People had come back to the forest and they are doing this illegal activity. The law that regulates mining activities in the country has made this work unlawful. We are protecting the forest, we are protecting our resources, and we want to enhance the frontiers of the law. It is not for nothing that the law has been made. So we cannot sit for people to abuse the law. Looking at it, we have very stiffer sanctions for those who engage in this exercise. Mining in the country is not banned. Mining in the country is not banned. We are only asking them to go through the process so that the Minerals Commission can regulate their activity. The Inspector of Mines and his team can go around to inspect the work that they are doing. Assuming that this one is even legal and he is doing prospecting. This is not how prospecting is done. Clearly, this is illegal, right? I think you have gotten enough.
So the MMIP, how crucial will the MMIP be in the fight against illegal mining and also addressing
MMIP has been set up. The office is being set up. They have procured some cars, and we are in the process of assessing the money from the World Bank to set it off in large scale. We are waiting. No, the money. The money comes in tranches. They will not give you all the $80 million, maybe 20 at a time, 5 at a time, and all that. So we are still talking to World Bank for release of the first tranche for us to zoom off. In fact, they have given us few dollars to set up the office, and other equipments have been acquired.
In all, 2 excavators were retrieved from the mine site, with many other mining equipment and personal effects of the absconded illegal miners being set ablaze by the minister and his team. Latif Idris, Joy News, Oda River Forest Reserve.
Latif Idris filed that report. Latif is still here with me in the studio. Latif, it's amazing and that we still have this problem. Yeah. But for many people, it won't come to them as a surprise because people have said that the interventions were not necessarily going to do with it. Someone was just asking, what happened to the drones?
Yeah, so...
Does the minister speak about it?
He didn't, and it's because we didn't put the question to him about how they are making use of the drones that we spent a lot of money to acquire, and yet we do not know how it's being deployed, being used to ensure that some of these persons do not get emboldened to venture into the business of illegal mining.
I think that all has been said there. He talks about deploying the military. After your journey, do you get the sense that this was a serious intervention that was actually going to happen?
Definitely. And he's giving timelines. He says that by next week, by the end of next week, we should expect these men on the ground. He's going to liaise with the military high command to ensure that we get 2 platoons. I mean, from the military. That is, we are looking at some 60 military personnel who will be deployed to protect this very precious forest reserve.
We'll see how that goes. But we also know that the Minister for
Environment,
Environment has been talking as well.
Yeah. So in the past, classical cases, the Aisha Huang case, when she was arrested and we got to a point she was deported back to China for illegal mining and all of that. Now, the Minister for Environment, who chairs the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining, has come out to say that the days of deportation of foreigners who engage in illegal mining are over.
Okay, well, we can hear the minister.
Divide that into 2, Ghanaians and foreigners. So in the past, we were deporting the Chinese. But since the new law came into being that everybody should be persecuted here and given stiffer punishment, we have arrested about 15 Chinese and they are in the courts. You know, the court system, that is very frustrating for us. I know they go to court and they are bailed, and I can imagine that some of them may even go to do what they know how to do best in Ghana, and then when it's date for court, they will go to court. So it's very frustrating, and I cannot influence the court system. Sometimes even the Attorney General finds it difficult because of the way we are. So far, since the new law came, I know that we have about 15 Chinese who are attending court, but none of them has been prosecuted or jailed so far. I know that there are a few Ghanaians in jail, but I believe that we should be a little bit lenient, you know, because some of the foreigners include West Africans from La Côte d'Ivoire, from Togo, from Nigeria, from Burkina Faso, Niger, and other non-Africans. We found people from DR Congo who are here, and foreigners from, not only from China, but from the US, Canada, some Russians, and so on. And most of the time, the non-Ghanaian West Africans are deported to their home countries. So if they go, then personally, I don't see why we should be so hard on our nationals. I think that if we punish them a little bit, impound their vehicles and so on. My answer may not be satisfactory, but these are things that are very debatable.
All right, so you heard the minister, Latif. Let's talk about the water. The fact that this is not just land. They're not doing this galamsey just on the land, but they are also practicing alluvial mining, getting into the water.
That's the worrying thing, Gifty. In the forests, whilst on this tour with the minister, we could hear a few meters away that some fine machines were busily in operation. I mean, the strategy they adopt is that they have an embankment, so that even when you try to arrest them, you are unable to reach them.
So on this occasion, they run away.
We didn't even make the attempt of going there because we were told that is the strategy. And so going forward, the ministry is also, like the minister mentioned, he will not reveal all the plans or the strategies to the media. So in the coming days, we are expecting to see some new interventions by the ministry to try and end, that is if it's possible, end the act of illegal mining, which is back again in our forests.
There are never any easy answers to these, but hopefully we'll be able to have a hold on it, get a grip on this situation before it gets entirely out of hand like it almost did some time back. Latif, thank you very much. Latif Idris is there. He's been on the ground checking out Galamsey site with the minister bringing us that update.